Good morning and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Conshy. I am your host, Teresa Brown Paris. Please welcome. Please join. Please share this live video. Please like and share this live video, and join us one moment, please, while we give you a great introduction to Good Morning Conshy. Welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Country. First, I must apologize that we weren't here last Wednesday, but glad for coming back today. We had some little minor problems that we weren't able to come to you live, but here we are today with an amazing guest in Heather Lewis. Our theme today is about the criminal justice here in Montgomery County and the resources that are here to help us. Um, a quote made good reference to that is, there is no greater threat to a free and democratic nation than a government that fails to protect its citizens' freedom and liberty as aggressively as it pursues justice. That is by Bernard B. Carrick. Our guest today will let you know what resources there are for us here in Montgomery County. Heather Lewis of CADCOM Participatory Defense. Heather has 20-year nonprofit professional serving the most vulnerable in our communities. She's a national trainer with Participatory Defense, executive director for the Uniting Family Bail Fund. Heather Lewis, welcome to Good Morning Country. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for bringing this much needed taboo topic to the forefront today.
Great. So today you're here under two umbrellas, Participatory Defense and Uniting Families Bail Fund. So let us know a little bit more about Participatory Defense and its origin.
So Participatory Defense came to Montgomery County, I want to say around 2015, under the then Chief Public Defender Keir Bradford Gray, but under the creation of my mentor, my brother. He's like, we're family now. Anybody that is a member of Participatory Defense becomes a family, which is a national family now. And Raj Jayadev is, he's very modest in how he describes how this Participatory Defense movement came to be. And he definitely shares the creation of it with all of us. And so, like I said, he's very modest in describing how this came about, but it was just a phenomenon that they went from a group of people working an assembly line in Silicon Valley to creating this movement out of, folks just having issues with police brutality in Silicon Valley, California. So I think you have a video with Raj describing participatory defense and the mass incarceration and the harm that incarceration is causing families and people across the country. So he puts it into context very well, but just the personal stories that we hear regularly really drive it home.
Okay, let's cue up that video real quick.
My name is Raj Jayadev. I'm the coordinator of the Albert Koblubius Justice Project. So the United States currently incarcerates more people than any other country on the planet. What that means is over 2.5 million people in the United States are incarcerated. Proportionally, that's 1 out of 100 people in some way are under incarceration control. That makes it no longer a siloed issue. That makes it an absolute crisis in the country and also for the future of the country. The AC Justice Project is an organizing model for families and communities who have loved ones that are facing the criminal court system, and gives them the tools and equips them on how they could involve themselves in the case to change the outcome of that case and ultimately change the landscape of power in the court system. What we wanted to do was find a way for community organizing, which is a science that has always allowed people who have been
Bev.
marginalized or perceived as powerless to take control over the institutions that are controlling their lives. When people would come into our center and they usually ask, well, where's the lawyer? And we say, there's no lawyers here. And what we're trying to do is deconstruct this notion that change rests solely in the ability of whether you have a good lawyer or not. This is a naming of an instinct, and it's an instinct that exists in mothers that are sitting steadfast in the courtroom pews, trying to make sure that the judge knows they're there. It's with the church leader or the temple leader who's desperately writing a letter the night before sentencing in hopes that their words could somehow influence the outcome of the case. In participatory defense, the families become, in a lot of ways, an extension of the legal defense team. What I would see as participatory defense gets more utilized and expansive, and different types of people and different communities are using it and reinventing it in different exciting ways, is that they're also communicating with each other and learning from each other's lessons and incorporating it into their own work. And ultimately, I see that number that we've talked about, the over 2.5 million that are incarcerated, that number being a number of an American dark past that has been forever changed directly because of the involvement and participation of the families that once were seen only as the fodder of mass incarceration. My name is Raj Jaidev, and I am an Ashoka Fellow.
So Raj is our national leader, and our local leader liaison is one Heather Lewis. Heather Lewis.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'll share that that red table that you saw, it's real, it exists, been there, sat around it, worked at it. The people in that space, I mean, look similar to like our meetings when we were meeting in person. Um, and as you saw, Raj, very modest and giving credit to other folks for this work.
So Heather, you've had a calling for this for quite a while, but what drives you each day to get up and be there for the folks that need this type of service?
I've always been a servant, community servant for one, by nature. My grandmom, this one, has been a servant all our life. So I think it's just in our blood. Our family is very community oriented, but also too, I've always been an advocate for the underdog. Have always rooted for those folks that are kind of pushed back and not seen, oppressed, marginalized, and so I don't see a system that does that more than the criminal legal system. We don't call it justice because it's not. There's nothing just about the system. So again, being mindful of our words and things like that. So the criminal legal system is the most oppressive and violent and punitive system that we have that's supposed to rehabilitate people.
Okay,
So
great. So you're there for the community, but how does the community know? How do you get your? If you're serving folks, then you would need clients or people that you can service. How do we go about getting those clients? Those.
Well, the families that come to our meetings, I mean, now our hub, we've been doing this, like I said, since 2015. Our hub has grown, and it grows by case, and families staying on to do the same thing, the same work, and wanting to help somebody else so that they don't experience the same injustice or trauma. By going to court by themselves, or so it's really word of mouth. You know what I mean? We have our website, we have some things, but we're showing up at court for people. We're handing out our business cards, just so that folks know that they don't have to go it alone. I mean, the system is designed to isolate. It's designed to shame you. And so we just want folks to know that we're not judging. We're not attorneys. We're not here to judge or say, hey, you shouldn't have did that. Why you did that. So we're really just there to support and empower. You know what I mean? The more you know, the more you can hold your attorney accountable and the judge accountable. You know the process, you know the system, and they have kind of monopolized the legal system because you go to law school to know that system, and we haven't gone to law school. We were essentially of the school of hard knocks, that we learned because we were directly impacted. My son caught a case, and that's kind of what really had me dive deeper into this work and what's going on here in Montgomery County, thanks to Dean and Keisha, the former deputy and co-deputy chief of the public defender's office, were very supportive of this work. So with their support, we were able to, kind of build and grow participatory defense in Montgomery County.
Great. So an organization like yours is nonprofit.
Yes.
Okay. So you get funding from donations. Um,
Donations, yes.
Okay, great. So how can one, so tell us about a typical family or typical case. We hear about you, we come to you, what's the next step and how do we progress with you alongside us in the system?
Right. So to get to participatory defense, you can reach out to any one of us via our emails or our phone number through our website. But also, too, since our hub has grown, we have folks that are in the community that we all know someone that's been arrested or incarcerated. So now that has that word is out, people are calling. And when we first started in 2015, we were getting people that were literally 1 week out from their court date. Now we're getting people at arrest, so we're able to have a greater impact along the long haul and really fight for folks, one, to not be incarcerated at the beginning of their case, because that's harmful. And the statistics show that folks that are incarcerated pre-trial have a negative, not as positive outcome versus those that are fighting their case from home. So that was kind of how the bail fund was born out of participatory defense, because it was just a natural progression. As we started getting cases earlier, we recognized the need to have folks be bailed out pre-trial.
Okay, great. So we have a question here from Ernest Scott. Where do you see our justice system going, moving forward? Good question, Ernie.
I'm sure he's got an opinion about that too. Where do I see our justice, our legal system moving forward? I see our organization and the movement interrupting how it currently operates. So what it's going to look like, I can't necessarily say. I just know that we're going to be involved. We're going to make sure that we have a seat at the table. We're going to make sure that our input is heard, that our people are heard, the people that are directly impacted, the men and women and children whose lives have been, traumatized and torn apart through incarceration and, high bails and pretrial incarceration and all those things that kind of go along with this system. We're definitely going to be a fly in their ointment.
Great. What are you involved with any organizations here locally, like working side by side? You still in association with the public defender's office, correct?
We work with the public defender's office. The energy there has shifted a bit, so we're trying to reestablish. COVID had a lot to do with this change and the change in leadership, and the rollout of the pretrial program out of the courthouse has definitely changed how things are happening. But I can tell you on a weekly basis that still 8 to 10 people qualify for the bail fund services, which is $5,000 cash or less. So there's no shortage of the system incarcerating folks and assigning bail for petty crimes like retail theft. Retail theft is the number one charge that people are incarcerated for.
Okay.
And so to answer your question, we partner with whoever is down for the cause. We definitely want to have a coalition, because we can't do this work by ourselves. We're in the courts, we need people in the streets, we need people doing research, we need people reaching out to families, we need people reaching out to those loved ones that are incarcerated. So there's no shortage of work that needs to be done. This is a movement, so there's a lot of working parts and a lot of folks that can support this work and come together.
So in that sense, it does take a community.
Absolutely.
You mentioned going to the assisting families by going to the court with them. Does it matter if it's a juvenile case or an adult case? How does that differentiate who
It
when you go?
does. Yes, it does matter. Juvenile cases are usually close to the public. You can family can attend, per the judge. Like with Zoom and all that, some of the guidelines have changed. So, would you, if you are directly involved in a juvenile case, you would have to kind of communicate with the attorney and things like that to find out how they're allowing that. We have sat in on juvenile cases, though, that are criminal, um, and we've also have the adult system. These are public hearings, so there should be no reason why you should not be able to attend a hearing either via Zoom or in person. Recognizing the COVID guidelines, but these are it's your right as a U.S. citizen to attend these hearings. They are public, so if a judge or an attorney is saying no, you can't attend, you need to ask why. I mean, there are times that they will close it to the public, but it is in general your right to attend these hearings.
No, the count. Good, thank you, Heather. We have a question here from Mildred.
Hey, Mildred.
What is the conviction rate in Montgomery County? No,
98.
can you break that out from adult to juveniles, or is it all lumped into one number?
I don't know if I would imagine it's probably adult. I would guess, since juvenile is there's different guidelines there and expungement and things like that. So, but to answer, the conviction rate for Montgomery County is 98%. And
Wow.
the overturnment rate, I think, is about 70%. But 98%, they think the DA likes to tout that number as they're doing a job, they're cracking down on crime, and the community is safer, when in actuality, that majority of that number is plea deals. So they're not taking cases to trial. So folks are pleading guilty because they've sat pre-trial to their hearing, and they're just willing to take whatever at this point so that they can begin their sentence, so that they can get out and get back to their families. So that 98% is nothing to be proud of. They are not utilizing the resources to allow folks to fight their cases because of the intimidation tactics that they use, that, oh, well, we're gonna max you or roof you, as they call it, or trial tax. So it makes you fearful for actually taking your case to trial. So you take the lowest, deal that they offer you, and you serve your time.
So the county has instituted a pre-trial
Yes.
screening. What is that, and how does it work? And how does it affect your movement?
So the pretrial program is designed to do a couple of things, according to Judge Del Ritchie, who's the president judge, who this is his baby. It's one, to kind of provide some oversight to the district judges, because they are the ones that assign the bail. That's where a criminal case begins, at the district level. That's why voting is so important, because we elect those judges. So, that's a whole nother thing. So it starts there. And so there are 30 district judges in Montgomery County, and he feels as though he can't control them, apparently, because he needed this pretrial program to provide some oversight into their bail practices, because each individual is to their own. It's their own discretion. So each MDJ has their own discretion on how and they assign bail to individuals. And so now with this program, any bail, cash bail that's assigned, has to be reviewed within 24 hours. And so that goes to another judge at the Court of Common Pleas level, and they review it, determine whether or not it should be or shouldn't be. And then that judge has the authority to reduce the bail or keep the bail. He cannot increase the bail. And so that's the one thing. And then the other thing is just to, I guess, an attempt to reduce the prison population, so that, reduce the numbers, I guess, and try to divert folks into different, systems, mental health treatment, drug and alcohol treatment, again, I think this is a duplication of services because those systems already exist. There's already diversion courts, there's mental health court, there's veterans court, there's drug and alcohol court, well, mental health, behavioral health court. So there's already those systems that exist. So to me, it's just a duplication of services that's costing us Montgomery County taxpayers $880,000. And so it hasn't really impacted our service, like I said, and they've left. It's a pilot, so they've left out the most active, poverty-stricken, dense communities of color, in particular Norristown and Pottstown. So those two communities are not in this pilot program. So there's still not a shortage of 8 to 10 people qualifying for our services of $5,000 cash bail or less.
So then would that affect the results of the pilot test in some way, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, they're stacking the deck to win. You know what I mean?
Got it.
That and just to kind of dive deeper into that a little bit, we've been doing some docket review, and so the dockets are the information sheet of the crime from somebody's arrest, and they list some demographical data, and there are literally 3 categories: Black, white, and Asian. And I can count on one hand the number of people that were listed as Asian. So the numbers are already skewed, that, when they say, oh, well, white folks are, the highest number of people that are incarcerated. Well, yeah, because you're putting everybody that's not Black in that category. And, white folks are like 70% of the population. So, you know what I mean? Those, if you understand statistics, you understand that that's already skewed to make it look like there's no disparity towards people of color.
Interesting. Now, one of the points that you mentioned in participatory defense is to humanize the family member going through the system. How do you do that? And what does it mean when it said to humanize them?
Well, the judge doesn't know who that individual is. They don't know their family. They don't know their ties to the community. They don't know that they are loved by somebody else. And so, and neither does the DA, and most times neither does their attorney, the defense attorney. And so we empower the families to create dialogue with the attorney so that they understand who this individual is, on a regular basis of having that dialogue. Okay, he has children, or children, employment, loved ones, caretaker, what have you. And so as their case progresses, in participatory defense, one of the first activities that we assign to families is to create a social bio packet, or to at least start building one, because that is a tool that can be used at any stage of the case. So it can be used at arraignment, it can be used at a bail hearing, it can be used at any stage that introduce this person's life, essentially, who they are outside of what they're being charged with. So we highlight their strengths, and really just show the judge and all the court actors who this individual is, not the charges that they are facing.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. Now we have a question here from from Carol about donating.
Yes.
How can folks donate money to participatory defense if they want to?
Well, they can write us a check. We are a 501c3, so all donations are tax exempt. And Carol, don't ask me to tell you our Cash App and our Venmo accounts. It's on our website. But yeah, so and you can mail a check to PO Box 781, Norristown, PA 19404, and you would make that out to Reality Speaking, because that is the nonprofit umbrella that these programs operate under.
Awesome. Wonderful. Let's take a quick moment here for a break from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. So like and share this video, folks, in the meantime, and see you on the other side.
My name is Blaine Pierce. I'm from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Graduate of Delaware State University, sports science major, member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We are located in Norristown, Pennsylvania, 1725 Markley Street, in the Astor Shopping Center, right next to the zoo. We handle one-on-one personal training, group and fitness classes, strength and conditioning classes, kickboxing training, boxing training. We also have yoga classes and massage therapy and movement therapy. My passion has always been to help others become their best self. stronger physically and mentally.
Hey, and Blazing Fitness also offers classes too. They have
Line
Zumba
dancing.
coming up, line dancing. Awesome, awesome. So Heather,
Teresa, can I add to the question about donating and just to kind of put it into context?
absolutely.
$100 can buy someone's freedom. I'll leave it at that. $100
$100.
can buy someone's freedom. There are people sitting in MCCF, which is the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, for $100.
Wow. $100.
$100.
Okay, so Heather is the leader for the Montgomery County Participatory Defense, and she has a team that work with her of caring family members and community members. So here's a video of what they do on a weekly basis.
And before you do that, I apologize. And I'm not the leader. We are all leaders in this movement. So I'm not the leader. I might be the most outspoken and the most whatever, but we are all in this together there. And that's the beauty of the meetings, is that we all share the roles. You facilitated, we all facilitate, take notes and things like that. So I'm not the leader. We are all doing this together. So, and you will see other members in this video that you're about to show of the folks that are really passionate about this work.
Right, and here are some of the folks that show up Monday. Well, since it's been COVID, we've been meeting virtually, but here are some of the people that participate in this on a weekly basis. It's a community effort. Nobody gets paid. It's all done for the love of community. Here we go.
My name is Heather Lewis, and I'm the Director of Resource Development for CAC. Participatory Defense essentially is a community organized, community run group of individuals that either have themselves personally been impacted by the criminal justice system, or they have a loved one that's been impacted by the criminal justice system, and is designed to empower and educate them about the process, give them support, explain to them what's happening at arraignment, explain what's happening at their preliminary hearing, explain to them when they waive their rights to certain things, what's actually happening, what that means.
Our job is not to guilty or innocent or anything along that line. Our job is trying to help ensure that you have fair representation. There's people there to support you, and that you can navigate the system and be educated.
I myself was caught up in the system, and I had nowhere to go or nothing to do as far as someone helping you through the process. So now that I can help somebody, because I know the feeling that you go through when you're trying to navigate this system by yourself, it's a real good feeling.
Participatory defense, I think, is a really great model, especially for community-oriented defenders. It brings family members and loved ones of those who are caught up in the system, and it provides them an avenue to provide positive support to their family members and our clients.
Oftentimes, especially if you have a public defender, there may not be enough time to educate their client on what's happening. They just really need to get the facts and find out what's happening so that they can come up with their defense. We're a tool for the public defenders or private attorneys to help their clients understand what's happening so that they're kind of up to speed and that they can really focus on their defense for a better outcome.
The important thing is the public defender's offices sometimes don't have the best relationship with our clients. They help that relationship. Once they see us working, and we're working with family members, it makes it easier to represent someone. Frankly, it makes it easier to represent someone who trusts you.
We look at the backstory. We look at the person. We bring the human into the courtroom, not their docket sheet, not their charges, but the whole person. The folks that we're dealing with have had some type of trauma in their history. You just didn't wake up this one day and decide, oh, I'm going to go commit a crime or do X, Y, and Z. Something led them to that, and we bring that part of the story to the forefront of the attorney.
We've saved people years off of their sentences, charges that were brought down from felony charges to misdemeanor charges, and the like. And so we've impacted the community by being present, letting the courts and the judges know that there are people here who care about these people, and we're not just going to let you throw them away.
I've seen cases be dismissed. I've seen CADCOM, volunteers go with clients to court to speak on their behalf, and have had cases reduced and or thrown out when there is some spotlight on that case and community support.
You can win a trial with the aid of the community.
The mission is to make sure that everybody gets a fair shot, to make sure that you're not alone, to make sure that you know that you have a chance and that you have somebody backing you up, and everything is not cut and dry.
The system is designed to isolate you. It's designed to keep you ignorant of what your rights are, what is actually happening, the terminology. You don't speak, every day. If you're not trained in it, you don't understand it. So, when people are afraid, they tend to put it off until they have no other option.
We have meetings every Monday night, starting at 6:00 p.m. I would tell them to come out. We need a lot more people, in my opinion, who have been through the system to share their stories and to help be a support.
The more people who help out, the closer we get and the better our community. So, don't wait till something happens to say, dag, I should have did this or I should have did that. Be proactive. Come out and do what you can do to help your community, no matter what it is, whether it's here or someplace else. But do what you can do to make your community better. We talk about our quality of life and so on and so forth. It's up to you to elevate your quality of life. Either you do or you don't. But you can't complain about how things are if you're not here to do a change.
Awesome, Heather. That is just amazing. And one thing that we should also stress is that when a family comes to the meeting, it's almost like that saying that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Not here, not this, no.
So everything
that's what allows the judges to do what they do, right? Because nobody wants to watch, nobody wants to come and see. So the judges are talking crazy and assigning crazy bail to folks, and it's just crazy. And so Darshell in the video had mentioned time saved, and so that's the measure we use, not necessarily to determine how successful our program is, but just to highlight the work and the lives that we're saving is time saved versus time served. So we, as a national participatory defense network, which there's over 40 hubs across the country now, we have over 10,000 years of time saved from people's lives. There are stories that people have had their life sentence overturned. You know what I mean? They were facing a life sentence and the charges were dropped because we were able to advocate and show up and stand beside the family as they were fighting their case. And also, too, there's a national bail fund network. So it's not only National Participatory Defense, but there's National Bail Fund Network. So even if you're not, because we get a lot of referrals from out of state. So, I have to direct them, I'll look it up, look at the bail fund website and see if there's a bail fund in their community that we can refer them to. But there are some that are national and that will pool their resources to support folks and get them out pre-trial.
And also with participatory defense too, like if you have someone who's working maybe from New York and they have a case in Montgomery County, we're able to support them here because they're not from this area.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can stand in for the family if they can't get there. And we can kind of just explain to them, like, this is a hearing, a call to trial list. Yeah, you don't have to make that trek down from New York City, because they're essentially just adding numbers and seeing who's going to be heard that day, who made a plea, who's going to trial, and then they'll set dates. So understanding, that so that people can really utilize their resources in the appropriate fashion.
Great work, Heather. I'm so happy that you joined us here today.
I'm so happy to have you.
Is there anything else that we should know about your organization?
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we intend to be here, regardless of, what happens with the pretrial program, what happens with if they do eventually end, cash bail. We know that's it's like Moby Dick, the great white whale will never find it. You know what I mean? So it's just, if you have a loved one that's facing a case, just know that you've got family and support here that, can, walk along with you. Every win looks different. Some people, have their charges dropped. Others, take a deal with a lesser sentence. And, it's just knowing that, they've been supported and loved through the process.
Oh, wait, and before we go, it's not just criminal. We also help and support families going through
Yes.
the family court also. We're there
Yeah.
to support them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great,
Yep.
great.
And we will make referrals. I mean, because, we directly impacted in any of those systems. You know what I mean? It's like, if you have a dependency case or a juvenile case, like, and you've never been there, it's the collective community organizing model that can be replicated in every area of any system. You know what I mean? We've gotten away from community and really just, have been out for selves. And this is kind of, reversing that. We're coming full circle and going back to community and really supporting each other.
Great, awesome. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Heather. Please stay with us. We have some upcoming events coming up, and those upcoming events are brought to you by Paris Mobile Notary.
Yay.
First up, we have movies in the parks coming up tonight. It's going to be at Miles Park, and tonight's movie is The Croods: A New Age. The next one coming up on August 25th is Sprinkler Nights. Those hot summer nights are coming down to a wind down. In a couple of days, school will be starting. And so go get your sprinkler out at Sutcliffe Park, Wednesday, August 25th from 7 to 8 p.m. And this is a free event hosted by the Conshy local fire department. And the annual Fun Fest returns to Fayette Street. The Country Fun Fest is scheduled to be hosted on Saturday, September 18th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Fayette Street, 1st to 6th Avenue. Join us there. If you're interested in being a vendor or a sponsor, please reach out to them at the website at countryfest.org. And here we are. All right, guys. So winding up, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today at Good Morning Country. Thank you to my guest, Miss Heather Lewis. Thank you for you guys in the audience. Thank you. Please share and like the video. And if you share, you can also be in for a drawing. We have a gift card to one of our famous restaurants here at the Great American Pub. Last month's $25 winner was one Donald Morrison. So Donald, please reach out to us. If you're not local, we would need your name and address to send you your gift card. Thank you again for joining us here at Good Morning Country. Please be sure to join us next week. We're going to be live here next week with a famous, awesome guest. And her name is Caroline Muchacha, I think. I may be torturing her name. But join us next Wednesday, same time, 10 o'clock at Good Morning Country. Thank you for watching us. As always, love you guys. Thank you.